Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Azamina Chimera deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can summon out all sorts of awesome fusion monsters to help you control the board and go in for game. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Mirror Sword Knight. This card is the Lone Fire Blossom of the deck, and has the ability to can quick effect tribute this card from your side of the field to special summon a monster from your deck that mentions Chimera Fusion. This card is also a monster negate because when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, while you control Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, quick effect, banish this card from the field to the grave and negate the activation, which is an awesome effect, but this card is great in the deck to help you get your copy of Big Wing Birthmat on your side of the field so you can go full combo. We then play 3 copies of Cornfield Codal. Codal is really good as a 3-of in the deck. This card has a great ability. You can discard this card and then add a monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Chimera Fusion. This card is also targeting protection while you control a Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, because quick effect, you can banish this card from the field to the graveyard to negate the effect of a card that targets one of your cards on your side of the field, and if you do, destroy it, which is a really cool ability. We then play 3 copies of Nightmare Apprentice. Nightmare Apprentice is definitely a 3-of in the deck, and one of those powerful cards in the entire build, is you can actually discard a card to special summon this card from your hand, and if it's normal or special summon, you can add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly get the exact illusion that you need. We then play 3 copies of Gazelle. Gazelle is really good in the deck as a 3-of, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a level 5 Fiend monster or a Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, instantly grabbing Big Wing Birthmat or Chimera Fusion so you can go in for a fusion play. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can actually add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, grabbing the exact card that you need. We then play 2 copies of Big Wing Birthmat. Big Wing is really good as a 2-of in the deck. So if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 beast monster and or a copy of Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, instantly grabbing a copy of Chimera Fusion plus your copy of Gazelle so you can go in for a fusion play. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can target an illusion monster in the grave and special summon it, which is a great effect to instantly bring illusions back to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Master Tao. Master Tao is basically like a monster reborn for the deck, as it has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can turn an illusion monster in the grave and special summon that monster in defense position, which is a great ability to instantly bring a monster back to your side of the field. We play a single copy of Dibeels. Dibeels is really good in the deck as a 1-of and super easy to summon in the deck now, especially since we're actually playing Sinful Spoil cards in this deck. Because if a Sinful Spoil card is in either player's graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and this card is basically anti-spell fragrance, which is insane. It has the ability your opponent must set spells and traps before activating them, and if a spell or trap card becomes set on the field while this card's in the monster zone, you can target one card that you control and a card your opponent controls and destroy them, which is a really cool effect. We then play 2 copies of Dibelstar the Black Witch. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build, and it's absolutely amazing to summon out to your side of the field, and this card instantly gets us to our copy of Deception by setting it to our side of the field. It's very easy to summon out to your side of the field because you can special summon this card from your hand by sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, which is awesome, and then when it's normally special summon, you can actually set a Sinful Spoil spell or trap directly from your deck, which is an awesome effect. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really cool as a 3-of in the deck to basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck. We can also play 3 copies of Nibiru because it's very easy to out in this deck, and it's just a really cool card overall to basically break your opponent's board. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Calm of the Grave is really good as a 1 in the deck to basically just stop your opponent's hand traps while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of the Hollowed Azamina. Hollowed Azamina is one of the ways we can actually summon out our Azamina monsters from our extract, as this card is able to reveal an Azamina fusion monster in your extract, and for every 4 levels it has, round down, meaning we only have to use 1 card because we only play the level 6 ones, you send a Sinful Spool card from your hand or field to the graveyard to be able to actually special summon the revealed monster, and it is treated as a fusion summon. But again, since we only play the level 6 Azamina cards, you only have to send your copy of Deception to the graveyard to summon them out, which is awesome. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can actually target an Azamina monster you control, or in the graveyard, shuffle it in the deck, and if you do, add this card back to your hand so you can use it all over again. We then play a single copy of Debtors. Debtors is great as a 1 of the deck. This card is actually a quick play spell. It's basically the exact same thing as your copy of the Hollowed Azamina to summon out your copies of your Azamina extra deck monsters. But it's awesome because this card is a quick play, so you can actually go in for more fusion plays. We then play 2 copies of Deception. You really only need 2 copies of Deception. You definitely don't need 3. This card is absolutely broken, but it's super easy to get to with your copy of Diabellstar, as Diabellstar can actually set it to your side of the field because this card is a Sinful Spool card. This card lets you tribute a monster from your hand or field, usually your copy of Diabellstar, and then add an Azamina card from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to instantly grab your copy of Debtors or your copy of Hollowed Azamina from your deck to your hand so that you can basically go in for your play, which is absolutely insane. This card is really cool overall in the deck, and just an awesome card overall to be able to step into your Azamina plays. We then play 3 copies of Wanted. Wanted's definitely a 3-of in the build because this card searches out our copy of Diabellstar from our deck to our hand, which is a really cool effect to instantly grab it from our deck to our hand. And this card also has the ability, if this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard, target one Sinful Spool spell or trap that's banished or in your graveyard, and then place it on the bottom of the deck to draw a card, which is a great effect. But watch out for this effect with your copy of your Deception, because you can actually set your copy of Deception back to your side of the field off its own effect, which is really cool to instantly set your copy of Deception back to your side of the field with its own effect. But if you do need the draw, you can use your copy of your Wanted to be able to basically set it back into the deck and then draw a card. We then play 3 copies of Chimera Fusion. Chimera Fusion is really cool as a 3 on the deck to go over all of our awesome fusion plays, but this card has the ability, if you control a copy of Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, you can actually add this card from your graveyard back to your hand once per turn, which is a great ability. We then also play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Poly is amazing in this deck as a 3-of, just to help you break your opponent's board and go for some awesome fusion plays. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is definitely a 3 of the build just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. This card is an amazing 3-of hand trap and overall great in the build just to basically negate monster effects. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Azamina Chimera. This card is really good as a 1 on the deck. This card is actually a walking negate. This card is crazy powerful and basically a fusion version of Baron. It has the ability, any battle damage your Azamina monsters, except for this card, inflicts to your opponent is double. And when your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can tribute this card to negate the activation, which is an insane ability just to be able to use this card as a negate, and just really insane how easy it is to summon out to your side of the field. And if this card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can add a Sinful Spool's trap from your deck to your hand, which is a pretty interesting effect, but we don't play any of the traps. We play a single copy of Musalago. Musalago is really cool as a 1-of in the deck, as monsters that your opponent control lose a 500 attack and defense for each Azamina monster that you control, which is a pretty cool ability. And if this card is fusion summoned, you can add an Azamina or Sinful Spool's spell card from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to instantly grab a Sinful Spools or Azamina card from your deck to your hand. And if it's destroyed by battle or artifact, you can actually add a Sinful Spools spell from your deck to your hand. With my single copy of Soul. Soul is really good to help you spot remove cards off the field, and also it's very easy to make in this deck because it just requires an illusion plus a fiend to make this card. If it's fusion summon, you can actually target one card on the field and send it to the graveyard, which is a great ability to be able to use. And during the standby phase, you can actually target an Azamina or Sinful Spools card in the graveyard and add it back to your hand, but you're usually using this card during the opponent's turn to be able to use it as a disruption. And my single copy of Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. This card is awesome and one of my favorite cards ever created, as this card counts as Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, while it's on the field or in the graveyard. And if it's summoned to your side of the field by fusion summon, you can activate this effect that during the end phase, you basically discard a random card from your opponent's hand and send it to the graveyard. And also, it has the ability that during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target a beast, fiend, or an illusion monster in the grave and special summon it. We then play 2 copies of the Baphomet Fusion. This card is great in the deck as a 2-0 because this card is a walking Foolish Burial for a beast, fiend, or an illusion, and you can also banish this card from the graveyard to bring back one of your banished beast, fiend, or illusions during your opponent's turn. Plus, this card counts as Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, when it's on your side of the field, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Chimera, the Illusion Beast. This card is an OTK piece and so cool to be able to summon, as depending on the amount of fusion materials you put into this card depends on the amount of attacks it actually can make. Plus, this card, when it attacks its opponent's monster, negates its effect and drops its attack points down to 0. It doesn't destroy by battle and can attack multiple times to be able to OTK your opponent. We then play a single copy of Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera is really good as a 1-of in the deck because you can either draw 2 and pop a card or pop 2 and draw a card with this card, which is really, really cool. Plus, you can use this card as a disruption with your copy of Chimera Fusion. I'm going to single copy of Magnum. Magnum is really good in the deck to help you draw and pop cards. 1 copy of Draco's Tapelia, because this card is a walking negate, because it's really cool to be able to basically place a Predator counter on a card and negate that monster's effect and drop its level to 1. And my single copy of Garua. Garua is really good as a super poly target. 1 copy of Mud Dragon, also a great super poly target, which is really cool to be able to use this card with. 1 copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is really cool as a 1-of in the build, just to summon that to your side of the field, as you can basically just get rid of a card off the field, and if you use light and dark monsters to be able to make this card, it gains some pretty cool effects. Like a single copy of Typhon. This card belongs in just about every single extract because it's so easy to summon, and a single copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is really good because it's a double interruption and super easy to summon out to your side of the field. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have not played an Azamina Chimera deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's really fun to be able to play, and it's absolutely insane how consistent this build is. It's really fun and absolutely crazy to be able to establish all your awesome fusion monsters on your side of the field so you can go in for games. So, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.